on today's podcast, we're defining the term positive leadership. What does it actually mean to stay positive in times of so much change, uncertainty, challenges, and opportunities? The most effective leaders, teams, and organizations breathe oxygen that fuels mindsets of true positive leadership. Welcome back to The Thermostat with Jason Barger. If you're currently on a commute, a walk, or just a micro break in your day, glad you're making time to step back, to think, and to reflect on the next steps on your journey. I've never been more convinced the best leaders and team cultures in the world are the ones that make time to step back, breathe in good oxygen, and calibrate their thermostat. I hope today's conversation leaves you feeling grounded and inspired. Now let's dive into today's topic to engage our minds and hearts in order to authentically lead and create compelling cultures wherever we are in the world. Hey everyone, it's Jason, and welcome back to the Thermostat Podcast. We are well into almost the end of Season 6, over 150 episodes, and so excited that this continues to grow and spread, and thank you to everybody out there who continues to share this podcast with other people, and has given great feedback. It's welcome to the new folks that are joining the podcast and jumping in just recently. And to those that have been with us from the very beginning, thank you and welcome back. It is my commitment to you all that every time we gather that this is a place for you to step back, for you to think, for you to be, hopefully have your mind and your heart engaged and thinking about not only the life that you're trying to create, but how you show up for the people around you, the way that you lead, the culture that you create for the people in your life and work. And so I'm excited to hopefully create that, whether this is a moment in your day, if this is a part of your weekly ritual, or hopefully your monthly ethic of just stepping back and thinking about this kind of stuff. Before we dive into today's podcast, if you will do me the quick favor, rate this 5 stars, of course. That is, whether I like it or not, that's the way that people can find the podcast. So if you rate this podcast and all the episodes that you listen to, that's great. If you will leave a positive review, that's another way that it helps the algorithms work so people can find it. And obviously, every time you share it with people in your network and people around, whether that's on social media or however you choose to share it, but say, hey, this is something you ought to be a part of and listen to this, then this continues to grow and spread. So I'm very, very grateful for everybody that does that. Thank you so much. So on today's podcast, we're defining the term positive leadership. What does it actually mean to stay positive in times of so much change, uncertainty, challenges, and opportunities? The most effective leaders, teams, and organizations breathe oxygen that fuels mindsets of true positive leadership. But let's pause for a second. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll be back with today's episode. If you haven't done so already, we hope you'll visit Amazon or Amplify or jasonvbarger.com to check out Breathing Oxygen, my new book that is all about breathing good oxygen into ourselves and mindsets that fuel ourselves and the teams and the organizations around us. Positive, healthy thinking is as essential to great leadership and building a winning culture as the air we breathe. Leading yourself and a team of people has never been more complicated than it is today. As a leader, every move you make is either breathing life into your organization or slowly killing it. The atmosphere can easily turn toxic with negativity, blame, and doubt poisoning the culture. Just like every being on the planet needs good air to breathe, every organization needs leadership that breathes life into its people to sustain the energy required to complete its mission. Breathing Oxygen focuses on 6 key leadership mindsets that breathe life into any team: clarity, inclusivity, mental agility, grit, rest, and ownership. Join us, read, and share Breathing Oxygen.
Available now from Amplify Books on Amazon and jasonvbarger.com.
All right, welcome back. A couple of quick things just before we dive into today's podcast. First, a couple of thank yous. One, thank you to everybody that continues to help with the book launch, Breathing Oxygen. I continue to get great feedback and messages from people, so thank you to everybody out there who has helped with that. It's been exciting to see that theme growing. Also, I know we're now a few weeks removed from the Thermostat Cultures Live event that I hosted on Friday, November 4th. Amazing day in person here in Columbus, Ohio, and then virtual participants all over the place that were a part of that. Amazing day. If you didn't listen to the recap episode, hopefully you'll go back and listen to that. But also we'll share some other audio from that day coming out in future podcasts because some amazing conversations and great pieces that will help for all of us for our own development and for thinking about the teams and the cultures that we are creating. So today we're talking about defining positive leadership, and this will be a quick micro pod, but I want to make sure that we're taking a few minutes to just define this term, positive leadership. So this term, the reason why I think this is important is not only the world that we're living in right now, but also this term, positive leadership, it appears on the cover of my new book, Breathing Oxygen. The subtitle of the book is How Positive Leadership Gives Life to Winning Cultures. Now, there's a lot to define and break down in there, and we'll break down more in future episodes. But for today, I want to just be clear on what I mean when I use the terminology positive leadership. I want to be clear from the very beginning that when I'm talking about positive leadership, I want to make sure that we're clear on what I mean by it and absolutely what I don't mean by positive leadership. So what I don't mean by positive leadership is the, quote unquote, come on, everybody, just stay positive. Oh, everybody, it'll just be okay. Everybody just stay positive in the midst of something that's happening or something that didn't go the way that we wanted to. This kind of, oh, shucks, everybody, it's okay. Everybody just stay positive. When I talk about positive leadership, I'm not referring to this Pollyannic form of leadership. I'm not talking about, come on, everybody, just stay positive. I'm not talking about pretending that the tough obstacles or the challenges that we might be facing don't exist, or that we're hiding from them, or we're doing all of this to, quote unquote, just stay positive. That's not what I mean when I use the term positive leadership. That's not positive leadership. That's fairy tale leadership. That's hiding or ignoring the obstacles or challenges or even opportunities that we might be facing to, quote unquote, just try to not rock the boat. That's not what I'm talking about when I refer to the term positive leadership. So I want to just make sure that we're clear on that, because sometimes people in leadership positions they think that their role is to just, quote unquote, stay positive, and yet they do that. The manner in which they do that is actually showing people and modeling for people that it really means that I'm not going to talk about the challenges we're facing or the obstacles that are in front of us. I'm going to kind of hide from them, and I'm going to just expect everybody to put on a happy face and, in a Pollyannic kind of fashion, just, quote unquote, stay positive. So again, I'm trying to be very clear from the very beginning of this podcast. That's not what I mean when I say positive leadership. So let's get on the same page about what positive leadership truly means and looks like. Positive leadership does not run or hide from the obstacles we might be facing. In fact, positive leaders and positive leadership, positive leaders are direct and willing to name the challenges, the obstacles, the imperfections, being willing to be vulnerable, the willingness to acknowledge the tough things or the tough times that we're experiencing or the things that we're facing, and be willing to say, hey, this stinks. This is a challenge that I'm facing personally or that we're facing. This is an obstacle that's right in front of us, and a willingness to be direct and acknowledge it and name it, and still, in the midst of that challenge or that obstacle and that vulnerability, still choosing to believe in a future that we can create together. That is the essence of true positive leadership, is not running and hiding from the obstacles or the challenges or the opportunities, but naming them, looking them directly in the eyes and saying, here are the obstacles we're facing. Here are the challenges that are in front of us. Here's the uncertainty that we might be feeling. Here are the things that we're not sure about. But here are also the opportunities that we see. And even in this moment, I am choosing to believe in a future that we can create together and that I can be a part of leading. That tomorrow can be better because of our actions and our behaviors today. That is the essence of positive leadership. So positive leaders name the obstacles and still believe in the future that they can create together. They believe in the pursuit of solutions and the grit to pull together to find ways to get better and to move themselves and the people around them forward. Positive leadership breathes good oxygen into the room that helps all move forward and navigate the challenges and opportunities that are before them. Leaders and teams and organizations that understand this and are committed to helping their people breathe through the challenges and the uncertainty better, not only because it's just the right thing to do, but also because it helps our performance expand. These are the leaders, the teams, the organizations that realize they need to continuously be in the business of helping their people name and navigate the challenges together and think about how can we improve everybody's sight lines, the vision for where we're trying to go, the solutions we're seeking, and then also to help support each other so that we can breathe a little better as we stare those challenges down directly, face them, and then navigate our way forward with the next steps and each action that we need to bring to stimulate progress. Healthy cultures and healthy leadership and healthy teams aren't something that just naturally come together. The process for how we find solutions matters. The mindset helps us guide our actions and our interactions with each other. So as always, let me leave you with a couple of questions for you to ponder this week. What are the obstacles, the challenges that you're facing? If positive leadership, we got to be able to name and acknowledge and face those, then what are the obstacles and challenges that you are facing? What are the opportunities that also exist to move things forward and stimulate progress? How will you and the people around you choose to believe in the future you can create together? And what are your first actions from here? I hope those questions help you think about what are those things that you might be facing and how can you and the people around you believe in the future that you're creating together and what those first actions might be to breathe and take the next step to lead with the kind of positive leadership that's genuine and authentic. So the last thing I'll say before we jump off today's podcast is I just want to say a last thank you to everybody that continues to help with the launch of the new book. With the holidays here, there are all kinds of holiday deals that are going on. You can check them out at Amazon or jasonvbarger.com. And you've probably heard about a lot of them. People continue to ask, how can I help? Order the book if you haven't gotten the book and read it. I want the book to be one that people actually read. And I've been so excited and blessed that many people have gotten the book, that it rose very quickly to become a #1 new release on Amazon as it was released and now continues to move out into the world. So thank you to everybody that continues to order it and read it. And hopefully it resonates with you. And if it does resonate with you, then to be willing to share it. If and only if it resonates with you. If it's something that you feel like, hey, the messages are worthy of being shared, then around the holidays, share it with your team members, your colleagues, your family, your friends, whoever that may be that you think these messages might connect with. And lastly, one of the other ways, as people ask me, how can I help, is to leave positive reviews. 5-star reviews on Amazon or whatever platform that you're using. All of those are ways in which people, then the algorithms help people find the book either. So if you have other ideas or ways in which you think you want to help with the launch of the book or that you want to share this in kind of bulk ways, you can always email us, info@jasonvbarger.com, and we'll help you figure out how to do that. But once again, just thanks to everybody that has supported this along the way. I'll just remind us as we leave today that to breathe in appreciation and gratitude for all that is within our control. And now's a chance to be that kind of positive leader, not that Pollyannic, ignoring the things that we're facing, but that positive leader that acknowledges the challenges or the uncertainty or the opportunities that are right in front of us, and then helps people kind of calibrate our own thermostats to think about our own awareness of those things and what is our response going to be? What are the actions and behaviors we're going to put into practice? We are the thermostats. And once we know that temperature and get clear on what that temperature is that we're trying to set for ourselves and with the people that we count on every single day, then the job becomes how can we breathe good oxygen, breathe in mindsets to help us keep going so that we can set that temperature for ourselves and for the people around us. So I hope you'll keep tuning in. Remember, the best leaders, teams, and cultures on the planet stimulate progress by recalibrating their thermostat together, and then breathe good oxygen into themselves and share it with others along the way. Thank you for listening to today's podcast, and I hope the messages and questions stimulate positive change along your path. As always, if these messages resonate with you and add value to your life, I hope you'll help amplify them throughout the world. Please rate, comment, and share on whatever podcast or social media platform you're using, and share this podcast with the people in your life or work who should be part of these conversations. That way, this spirit does, in fact, spread. If these messages or developing leaders and culture would be helpful to you and your organization, please contact us at jasonvbarger.com, jasonvbarger.com. And remember, we are all ambassadors for the culture we want to create in our life and work. We have to own the vision we want to be a part of. The future of leadership is you, is me, is us. Be a thermostat.